Hello there, this is Michael from Trike Bike, and today I'm going to put together a Trike Bike CHILL and we'll run through it, give you instructions on how we put it together. It's important to note that this is our very first batch of Trike Bike CHILLs, and some things we may do today we may not need to do in the future as the design evolves, because this is a brand new design. So as time passes we'll make little modifications and changes, so what we do today may not be the same as what happens in another 6 months time. So join me with this assembly. I hope you enjoy it. We're just going to start by removing the straps. Okay, I've opened the box and inside we've got things like our baskets, which I'll just take out. There's a lot of foam packaging which is in here to protect everything, and our wheels and our mudguards are actually attached with cable ties to the frame. So let's undo those first. Okay, I'll carefully remove those. That's our mudguards and seat back. And on the other side we've got our wheels. So firstly our front wheel, I'll just pull the plastic caps off the end. And down here amongst all the wrapping we have both our rear wheels. Okay, the Trike Bike CHILL comes about 95% assembled, and it's at this stage you'll need someone to help you either lift the tricycle out of the box, or you can cut the ends of the boxes open so you can pull it out. For me though, we put it up on our bench. We use a little crane system to lift it out. So you'll see it comes basically 95% assembled. All you've got to do is fit the wheels, the seat back and your rear basket assembly. It's all fairly straightforward, but we can start now by removing all of the plastic wrapping. Okay, I'm just going to remove the last of the foam packaging. Now I'm going to lift the handlebars up into their correct position, and the lever for that is on top of the handlebars here. So release it, you can slide it up, lock it in place. Importantly, I'm going to leave one washer on the side that doesn't have the disc brake, and on the disc brake side I'm going to remove everything. Now we need to put the front wheel into the front fork. Alright, the first thing we've got to do to prepare putting the front wheel in is remove this little spacer from the disc brakes. So this is to stop the pads from getting crushed during shipping. We're going to get somebody to help you to lift the front of the bike up. The washer on this side, opposite the disc brake, goes between the wheel and the fork. So now we can start putting the wheel nuts on. So on this side, 2 washers, and we can start to do the wheel up. And on the disc brake side it's again 2 washers and the nut. Now it's important that we use Loctite, so just the smallest dab on the threads with Loctite. It's always about the size that would cover a matchstick, so the red part of a matchstick is what you want to do. These are 15mm nuts and they need to be tightened firmly. Just double check that the wheel is sitting central and then you're right to tighten. In our workshop we use electric tools because we're used to it, but I recommend you just use a spanner to tighten. Okay, in this area we've got our disc brake and you'll see that it's left loose, so we'll remove the screws from that. There's 2 screws holding on the disc brake, and I'll just put that to one side. Then there's 4 silver screws which are for the mudguards. We need to fit the mudguards and then fit the disc brake caliper. So I'll remove those 4. Whoop. Now there is a left and right hand side for the rear mudguards. Obviously the reflector points backwards, so we just bring this in using the silver screws again, locate and tighten. So just make sure you've got everything aligned properly, and you can start putting the screws in. These are an M5 Allen key. So get them all in finger tight first before you go ahead and tighten them with a tool. Okay, I've now got the mudguard nice and tight, and this is a terrific design because it's made out of one piece of metal, so it's really solid. We now have to fit the disc brake, and the reason we have to take the disc brake off is to make it so it can go into the mudguard. You can't do this unless the brake is off. But put it back to where it came from, manually align everything. So everything's been pre-assembled and ridden, and that way all the adjustments are done, everything's lined up correctly. So all you have to do is simple reassembly. Okay, that's firm, everything's finished there. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Alright, I finished this mudguard, I've put the brake caliper on. Now we're going to fit the rear basket. Okay, we'll start by removing these 4 bolts on the back. Going to start by putting the basket hanger or the basket holder on. So we'll start by putting the bolts in, and we'll just leave them loose for now. Okay, I've got them in there loose for now. I'm going to start by just tightening one, and then I'll just check the levelness, because you can move this sideways just a little bit. So it's an M6 Allen key and a 13mm spanner on the back. I've still got the ability to move it, so I'm just going to stand back and make sure I've got it level with the top platform, and I do. So we can now go ahead and tighten the other side. Okay, I've just opened a little bag of accessories. Here we've got our basic tools to help with the assembly. We've got the bottom of our basket bracket, and we need to fit this to our basket. We've also got seat clamps, which we'll use shortly. We've got some plastic spacer washers and some screws. Now on past deliveries, this bracket has already been fitted to the basket, but on this delivery it hasn't been. So we get the clamp, put it underneath, you'll see where it aligns fairly easily, and we can just start these screws. We don't tighten them down just yet because we need to get everything in there. So just give them 2 or 3 turns to get them started. Okay, I've got those 4 screws in now. They're all loose, and we can go ahead and do the final tighten. Remember, these are plastic, so don't over tighten them. Just do them till you can feel them sort of pulling on the plastic, and then that's enough. That's all you need. Okay, the basket's ready to be fit onto the bike. We've got the front clip, so this goes on first, and then we push down on the back clip. And to release it off the bike, we reach under the back of the basket, lift up this tab, which will disconnect it from the bike. Okay, the basket, put it on, push it down, it's now locked in position, it's ready to go. We're just going to fit the wheels onto the tricycle, but they do have a little mark on them showing the direction. So think about the rotation, and that's the way they go on. Okay, we'll start by putting the wheel on. We've got to remove this cap. The cap comes off. The wheel goes on, just align the splines till it slides on. The cap already has a little bit of dry Loctite in there, but I just use a little bit more. If you don't have Loctite, you can use nail polish. You just simply put the cap back in. You'll get a large Allen key with your bike. Fit that in, and you can just tighten it up. It does have a torque setting written on here. It's 30 to 35 Newton meters. A lot of people don't have a torque wrench, so just do it up firmly. When you're doing it, make sure you've got the Allen key in all the way, otherwise you can damage this, which is aluminium. Now our wheels are installed. Okay, this batch of seats have come with the fabric left off the seat. With our prototypes, that hasn't happened before. I'm guessing it's just to stop any transport damage, but we can remove the mesh back from the plastic bag. I'll undo the bottom strap, and now it's just a matter of laying it down and just feeding it in. So we just want to pull it down. It's like putting a sock on your foot. You just want to pull it down. If it's a bit tight, you can just release the clips until you can work it down. You want to get it all the way down to the bend. Now I'm going to stress that our future bikes are delivered with this already fitted. So when you go to do yours, this may or may not need doing. So that's great. We can do up this. It's a little bit tight, so I'm going to release the Velcro, lengthen the strap a little bit so I can connect it, and then I'll go and retighten. Perfect. So down here we have Velcro, and we have some self-adhesive Velcro. So we just peel off the back, line it up on the rear of the seat. So just fold that back a little bit, line it up on the rear, push it down, and then push it firmly with your hand. Now we can pull this seat back up and attach it with the Velcro. So that's nice and firm, and we're going to do the same, exactly the same on the other side. Make sure you don't do what I've just done and leave the backing on. You want to make sure you've got a really good contact running through here. I'm going to put this strap on. You can see it's way too short, so we'll release it, extend it, button it up and make it tight. Now we have one more task to do for the seat. That's this little Velcro cover here. It's almost like a little nappy. So we're going to fold the front end over this bar, bring it around. We're going to then Velcro the sides, so the top sides, and we position this bottom strap and tighten up. So what this is doing, it's just stopping this strap on the bottom of the seat from moving. We're now ready to fit the seat back onto the tricycle. Okay, preparing for putting the seat on the back. I'm going to remove the bolt that's in place already. So you'll see this has got a nut, a washer, and it's also got a special brass looking spacer. You want to make sure that doesn't get lost. So I'm going to remove both sides. Now we're ready to fit the seat back. So I'll put the seat back in, slide it down. No, I managed to get it done. So now I've got it positioned. I'm going to put the little spacer in. You want to line that up nicely so it goes through the seat tab and also the mounting bracket. Once that's on, we're going to fit our washer and our nylock nut. Leave everything finger tight for now. So it goes in exactly like this. So I'll line it up. Just give everything a good wiggle so you can get it all lined up and through. You can feel it go click when it goes in. And again. So they're in, so we can tighten them now fairly firmly. Now don't over tighten these, just make them firm, because even when it's all done up, you still need to be able to move the seat back. So you can adjust the angle to make it perfectly comfortable for you. Yep. Okay, so we've got our little seat clamps. I've taken the clamp off. What I'm going to do is adjust the seat back. You'll see here you can have it almost leaning back. I found the most comfortable for me is 1, 2, 3, and then just the start of the next hole showing, and that will sit in position 5 perfectly. So once we've got that, we put in the clamp. I'll put on the nut on the back. Now it's just a matter of screwing it in. So you can just hold the nut, rotate the over center clamp. So I've done it too tight there, I can't clamp it up, so I'm going to loosen it, maybe half a turn. That's too loose. So now I've got it right, I'll clamp it up. Perfect. Now we're going to go around the other side and fit the other clamp. This side doesn't have the holes, it's an open slot, so I can put the clamp in. I'll position the nut. I'm just tightening up the nut. Let's have a look. No, too loose, so I'm going to tighten the nut another half a turn. Too loose. Let's go again. That's getting nice and firm. That's great. All right. Okay, we're now fitting the battery. So we've got our keys our battery. Now on the back here there's a little on and off switch. Make sure you turn it on, because some people will call up and say my battery's not working, but it just hasn't been turned on. To put the battery on the bike, we just put it down on its frame, and then it gets pushed backwards. So I'm about 1 centimetre off the end. Put it on, push it backwards. We'll lock it on with a key. So you'll get a packet of 2 keys. We'll put the key in, rotate it half a turn. Now the battery's locked. If we need to remove the battery, put the key in, undo it, push it forward about 1 centimetre, then lift it up. It's really straightforward, so if you need to take the battery off for charging, it's really easy. Make sure you don't lose the keys. We always cable tie them somewhere for our customers when they pick them up, but if you are in a home, put them somewhere else. If you lose them, we have to basically break the lock to get the battery off. Okay, so that's really it. The bike is now assembled and ready to go. We just need to adjust our seating position to suit our length of our legs. We also need to adjust the handlebars to suit us. To adjust the seating position, there's 2 clamps down here. We'll just release them. If you're a tall person like me, you can slide it backwards. If you're shorter, you can go forwards. So that's really easy to do. So let's get this on the ground now and just test it out. Okay, let's just turn it on. Press and hold the on button. The screen will flash up. We're in the lowest setting, so we're ready to go. We're in gear position 1. So we're ready for our first test ride.